Well, hello, my good and kind friend. I hope that you're having a very, very good day. This is Blind Dad Does. My name is Ira, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in with me on what I hope is going to be an incredible journey. Yes, an incredible journey of epic proportions. It's wonderful, right? Yes, indeed it is. So, I hope that everybody out there has had a really good day. Mine's been pretty good. I had a nice big piece of hamburger for dinner with some fried onions that my wifeling decided to make in an air fryer just to try it out. And wow, it turned out really, really good. I'm going to have her do that for me again in the future. Yes, indeed. So how about that, honey? How you like that news? You're going to create these creations for me over and over. The wonderfulness of the food, the atmosphere, the wonderment of good air-fried food. So anyways, so I'm ready, hopefully, to do a little bit of art again today. Let's see how this kind of thing goes. Yesterday, I decided to create a little something, and it was a little different. I'll show you guys what I ended up working out yesterday. It was definitely different than what I usually do. It was kind of a post-apocalyptic sort of a scene, I guess you could say, in some ways, but worked out a lot different than what I expected it was going to be to begin with. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Well, hey, Into Thin Air, welcome, and I hope that you are having a wonderful day as well. In and out, bud. Sorry I haven't been around. Been editing and stuff nonstop. Oh, yeah. Well, definitely editing is always fun, right? Always fun. The world is falling down around us. Yeah, it definitely is. But, you know, I'm trying my best to, just keep my head down and do what I can to get by and have a little bit of fun without stressing too much about it. Kind of the world is going to do whatever it's going to do, I guess, is sort of what it comes down to. Nothing that any of us average Joes can do about it for the most part, other than just be good human beings, and that's all that we can do, right? So, yep, I give it my best whirl. Honestly, I'm not that great at it, but I give it the best try that I can. I can show you one. This is one that I did here a couple of days ago. This one turned out pretty neat, I think. I kind of like how she is. Very different. So Yep, exactly. You got to unplug, from the radio days. I've just been trying to do what I can to de-stress as much as I can, because, getting stress-induced diabetes is not a fun experience. And over the past couple of weeks, my sugar levels have been kind of rising a little bit again. So I've got to be a little bit careful about the stressing that I'm doing and that kind of stuff. So, I'm just kind of hanging out and doing my thing and doing a little bit of art, and it's enjoyable for me. It's something that I like to do. And, I don't like, this is actually, thank you, phone, shut up. This is actually about the, only 5th time that I've ever shown the process of art creation for me on a stream. I'm still very nervous about it, and I hope that everybody will respond okay to it. I know that I'm not hugely great or anything along those lines, but I try my best and I have fun with it. Right. So that's what it comes down to. You went to art school. Oh, well, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome. So what kind of art do you like to do? Just out of curiosity. For me, I try to do just kind of what I can, whatever comes to my brain at that moment in time is sort of what I do. So, I can show you the process of creation that I do. Let me see. I'm in the mood for a portrait today. So I'm going to try to start off the canvas with a little bit of a portraiture. And I'm going to choose a color that's a little bit, I don't know, maybe on the darkened bluish side. How about that? We'll try that today and see what comes about. So here's what I do. I use Photoshop, and I use it for specifically a single tool that it has available to me. And I don't know, I'm very curious if anybody out there knows of another program that has this kind of an option to it. I would really appreciate knowing, because unfortunately, the Photoshop thing is kind of expensive. So, Fifi, hey, welcome. Thank you for the host, brother. I appreciate it. And I hope that you're having a really good day out there, man. I'm just kind of getting started with things and seeing what I can do here as far as a piece of art goes. But so here's what I do. In Photoshop, there is a tool available called the pattern stamp tool. So you can find it right here with the clone tool. Like, the clone tool, basically you select an area and then it will clone. I'm not really into this music. I'm going to change this music. Give me a second here. Sorry. Let's see. We'll try this one and see how this one goes. So anyways, the tool basically, as a clone tool, if you were to like select an area and then run over it like this, it just copies that area, depending on your opacity and all that all the settings, that go with it. Right. But, there's also this tool right here, the pattern stamp tool. Now you're noticing that this brush is a little bit of a bizarre shape, right? It's a little bit strange. Let me see here. I just noticed a message came in. Started basic sketching young, and in high school, my art teacher took me under his wing. Stuck to mostly pencil and charcoal. Never really got into the painting color. Gotcha. Okay. I am always very impressed by people that are very skilled with sketching. Honestly, like, I can't do it. Mostly because, like, for me, I'll give you an example of like what I have to go through when I'm doing artwork. Let me switch back to this scene here real quick. So what ends up happening with me, because of the blindness that I have, it causes some very specific issues. So every time that I look at anything, I deal with basically this. This is a photograph of the moon, and it's sort of warped and changed to show how I look at the moon myself. You'll see that there are multiple versions of it superimposed over each other. They're warping all over the place. There's, a lot of ghosting and that kind of thing. So for me, doing things that have involvement with line art is very difficult. Because, like, for instance, if I was to just draw a straight line like this, I'm not only seeing this line, but I'm seeing multiple versions of it that are just scattered all over the place. So the closer I am to the monitor, the less that kind of an effect is, but it's still extremely, problematic to me. So I do a little bit of a different technique to get myself started, and that's what this pattern stamp tool involves. So as you can see, this brush is, well, at the moment, kind of looking like a weird Kermit screaming or something like that, but it has kind of like a distinct shape with like weird squiggles and that kind of thing that are all over the place. And I have the brush set so that every time that I push it down, it jitters the brush. You see, it transforms it and it changes it so that it warps and all of that kind of stuff, right? So what I do is I take the pattern stamp tool, and there are a couple of options up here that you can make use of. There's aligned and there's impressionist. Okay, so let's say, for instance, what I've done is I have taken like paintings that I've done, and I've taken like images that other people have done that have like specific color patterns that I am really like grooving with at that moment, right? So what I can do with this pattern stamp tool is, let's say I select this one right here, and if I just have these options turned off as it stands right now, if I was to run this over it, it's basically just duplicating the image that you see on the pattern stamp. So it's sort of like the clone, right? It's sort of just cloning the image into the spot, right? However, if you turn impressionist on, then you run the brush across. You see, it just throws patterns of color on there. And this specific brush makes it so that the like textures that are there are a little bit more like prevalent. So what I do then is, just by slapping this paint on the canvas, I choose, like, I let my mind go for a moment, and I try to see like something. So it's akin to cloud watching. If you look up in the sky and you see a bunny in the clouds, and the person next to you sees a dragon, that's kind of like how cloud watching is. So for me, that's what I do with this stuff. So what I will then do, like for instance with this one here, I can see there's maybe something. Change this to a white. There's like a figure. I'll do a new layer here so I don't mess things up too. There's a figure whose head is like right here, right? And maybe the arm is coming down this way, and you can see the other arm right here. Their body is sort of like this, and you can kind of see the other edge of their head right here, or something along those lines, right? So it's like there's this pattern of a something there that my brain can grasp hold of and run with, basically. So that's sort of how I have to do things. It's a little weird, but Okay, I see messages have been coming in, so I'll make sure to read through them here. And if you see like weird things with my face and all that kind of stuff, keep in mind I am a blind guy, so I'm trying to squint really hard to read the text chat here. So I'm dark when it comes to my art. I hate to say goth, but it has bits of it, but that green is what makes it near her chest. Right? Yeah. I'm very much into, kind of the dark art as well. It's sort of my thing too. Right. Each stroke is different. Exactly. You see a lion or a car or a cat. Gotcha. Okay. Right. Yeah. So it's just a way. And I like to show people this, because I know there are a lot of artists out there that suffer with like inspiration drain. They have a difficult time coming up with ideas that their brain can latch onto and run with. Right. So doing things like this is a really good way to like train your brain to see things that aren't, and to kind of just grasp it and run with it, so if you're feeling a little bit dry on inspiration, this is kind of a good trick to get your brain trained to just run with it, just to go with it. So, right. Yeah. It's like, there's a lot of different possibilities. Like, so for instance, let's see, if I wanted to do a landscape kind of a thing, I could like recolor this section right here to kind of fill up with that orange a little bit. And you'd have like this kind of a cool canyon sort of a view right here or something. You see what I mean? So it's just it's all about the randomness. It's all about whatever you're inspired at that moment to grip hold of and run with. So. Right. Yeah. Well, that's, so like once I filled in a little bit of what I was seeing, it kind of makes sense for you guys as to what my brain was latching onto there. Right. But it's like, it's always something a little bit different, So, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, like, I don't normally do this, right? I don't normally undo, but I do want to go backwards just a little bit so that I can get back to this color palette here that I was using. Also, one thing too, is that if you, like right now, I've got the opacity on this tool set to 100%. If you do it at a lower opacity, it'll still do that kind of patterning stuff, but you see it keeps a little bit more of that background color in there, right? And you can kind of more meticulously fill things in to get a little bit more of a grasp of things, So like, I don't know, this could be like another kind of a creature viewpoint or something. Start a new layer here where like the head is like right here, and maybe it's a guy with a gun or something like that right here, and you can kind of, run with it or so. I don't know, just, something along those lines, just something weird that your brain can grip hold of and run with, So let me go ahead again and delete this out because I'm trying to do like a different color palette for what I'm bearing in mind with what I'm doing at the moment. But again, I don't normally undo. So that's kind of one of the points with this is that, you want to try to leave it like as intact as you can, I guess, because every little stroke can make a difference with things. Also, one of the things on the options of this, just let me show you this here too. There's the aligned option right here too on this pattern stamp tool. What that does is it makes it so that if for instance I used this pattern stamp with this painting that I had created, if it's aligned, then it's going to constrain itself. Let me raise the opacity here a little bit. If it's aligned, it's going to constrain itself to within the edges of that pattern, right? So as you can see, it's not really doing much because there's pretty much just blackness that's on that side of the painting, right? So what I do is I set it to unaligned so that it can then pick out whatever it wants from everything. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do maybe kind of a more purplish sort of a palette today to see what I can get to come out. Let's try this one here. See what happens. Oh, that's kind of cool. You see flowers. Yeah. Yeah. I do too a little bit. Yeah.
Yippee!
Tiggy, thank you. Thank you so much for hosting me. I deeply appreciate it, and I hope that you are having a really, really good day. I'm doing my best here to just kind of let the flow happen, get things started up a little bit here, and giving people a chance to see like the way that my process is. This is honestly only the fifth time or so that I've shared my process with people publicly. I've been very reclusive about my art, but I've been kind of convinced that maybe I should show my process for people out there that need the little bit of extra inspiration or something, just something different, I guess. Hey Diva, welcome. I hope that you're having a really good day too. Thank you guys for showing up. I really, seriously, I am very grateful that you guys are here with me right now. I'm going to give this my best shot. I've kind of got a couple of ideas that I maybe want to run with, and I'm trying to think pattern wise. Oop, hey, actually that was kind of, probably going to lose it now. Trying to think like pattern wise what I want to run with here a little bit. But it's mostly just a matter of like laying down colors, laying down some shapes, and kind of running with whatever your brain wants to grip hold of at that moment in time, Let's see. I don't know. I'm not necessarily feeling this one here. Let me try a different pattern. Go with this one here. Ooh, actually that kind of maybe is something. So it's kind of what I do is I look at it like I'm taking photographs in a different dimension, so like the different dimension has something there, right? I snapped a photograph, got this picture into this other world, but it's still very blurred, I can maybe get the impression, hey, there's something there, but I don't know if it's a landscape. I don't know if it's a person. I don't know if it's, what it might be, right? So it's all different, and everybody that looks at it is going to see it differently too, right? But then it's a matter of just refining from there. And each time that I do a little bit of a refinement process, I'm getting more and more of a picture, a viewpoint of the picture coming through, you see? So, let me see here. Hey, S19, welcome. Welcome. Gosh, I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you for being here with me. You guys are awesome. Shooting paint out of hollow logs on live streams. I don't think I've ever seen that one, but okay, so here's what I can do. I kind of see maybe there's a little bit of a person here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of like try to refine it a little bit. I'm going to turn the opacity on my brush down, and I'm actually going to use a different brush. The brush that I kind of like to use when I'm doing this refinement stuff is one of these little sketch brushes that I ended up finding one day, and it's pretty good. Like it does a good job of like helping me to define things down a little bit. One thing I do try to encourage for people, and this is just me, right? I know how it is that when you feel like you've made a mistake and that kind of stuff, that you need to like undo it and all that kind of stuff. And believe me, you can ask my wife. I was horrible with that, man. I would undo like crazy. And over time, I've kind of gotten accustomed to the fact that maybe doing the undoing isn't a great thing for me. I try to make it now so that every brush stroke sort of has something to it, some kind of importance to it. Even the mistakes can be good things, right? Because it gives your brain something else to latch onto, and it might give you a different idea that you can run with that you didn't expect was going to be there before. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where, sometimes that happens. Like we make a mistake, quote unquote, and we don't realize, hey, that might not have actually been a mistake. So I've gotten, I think, a little bit better with that over the years. I'm still bad with it, but not as bad as I used to be. And also one thing as well, like if I do an undo, it's going to be like because I accidentally like dropped the pen or something like that, and it made this like horrendous stroke across things or something like that. Then I might do the audio, but I do try to avoid it otherwise. So I hope that makes sense. Thank you for being here, Tiggy. Seriously. Typos. Typos are good. That's fine. Typos are good. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of seeing this like figure that's here, and I'm just going to try to refine the edges out a little bit to see who they are. I don't know who this person is yet. I don't know if it's male. I don't know if it's female. I don't know if it's an alien creature. I don't know yet. That's going to come with this process, with the refinement, as I break things down, So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm getting this sort of like in the background here. Maybe it's because of the colors that are going on, but I'm kind of almost getting like this, Asian kind of a feel to it, in some kind of way, maybe. I don't know. But I'm just trying to, just splatter a little bit of paint around and happy little trees, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Learning Jamaican. Okay, that's cool. Jamaican is an interesting language. So happy little accidents? Yeah, sure, exactly. Many, many happy little trees, right? Bob Ross was on the right track with stuff, that's for sure. Oh, I cannot tell you how many typos I make. As a writer, I understand the struggles of typos. All too well. Yeah, I mean, this has an interesting little feel to it. I don't know what's going to be happening with this. I don't know. I may not actually end up running with it. I mean, I don't know yet. That's sort of the point of this. You never know until it's done. Sometimes we as artists, we feel like we're doing a process and then kind of lose inspiration as we go, and that kind of thing happens. Let's see. Maybe it's kind of a feminine sort of a thing. I'm going to turn the brush size down just a little bit here. Just help me refine it a little bit more. Yeah, okay. This could be doable. Hi, Allie. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I never know from like session to session what's going to be happening with things at all. Like, no clue. So it's always interesting to me to see, because I don't know. I'm a little bit weird, right? I think that like art is, number one, very subjective. Like, what you guys see is different than what I see. I literally see things differently than you guys because of the way that my eyes work, So it's like it's difficult for me in some ways to do things, but I still enjoy it. I still enjoy the process of it and trying to figure out like what's going on. So like I look at it a little bit weird, like this person apparently that's here is trying to introduce themselves. They're trying to tell us their story, right? We've never met this person before. We don't know who they are. We don't know what's going on in their world. So we don't know like anything about them, but as we get them more complete, like again, right now, you can see this refinement came from this, you see? So this was that first picture in that dimension that we didn't know what it was. Could be a landscape. I mean, I could still see a landscape here too, you know, like over here is like maybe mountains in the distance or something like that. And there could be like this like magical storm that's going on up above or something like that. I don't know, you know, but I got the feel that maybe this time around it was more of a figure. So that's what I started to refine, you see. So it's like, it's about just whatever the feel is in that moment in time. That's what's going to be wanting to come out, you know? So, let's see if we can define a little bit more of who they are here. And if you notice, I'm trying to use like mostly the same colors as what the background is, because skin tends to be reflective of whatever light is around. You know what I mean? So the skin tone of a person or a creature or whatever the case may be, you know, it's always going to be whatever that moment is, right? The skin tone is going to be reflective. So I'm trying to use kind of the same colors that were already present, because that was sort of what was in the original palette, if that makes sense. I'm adding in like some yellow and that kind of thing because maybe that's what they are. That's what I felt at that moment, you know? So yeah, we'll just run with it from here and see what happens. A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Has that feel to it. So how's everybody doing out there today? Yeah, I was kind of having that same kind of feel, you know, like maybe in the end of things, this little section right here is going to be a braid or something like that that's coming down, or at least like, you know, longer bits of hair, you know, kind of scattering down this way or something. Yeah. So it's getting pretty decently refined. You know, this is a good start. I think I've got the proportions pretty good on things, maybe. Yeah, I'm not dissatisfied with it so far. Not so far. We'll see where it goes from here. So, for those of you guys just tuning in, welcome. My name is Ira. This is Blind Dad Does, and I am a blind guy trying to do a little bit of art, I guess you could call it. Trying to do some digital paintings as best as I can. It's not easy for me, but you know, you guys will notice my eyes doing all kinds of weird things as I'm trying to squint and see and, you know, refine and do all that kind of stuff. So please pardon any weird looks that you see upon my face. I can't help it. It's just kind of the way that I need to make my eyes work to be able to see well enough to get something done, you know what I mean? So please pardon, you know, if I look a little odd. But, you know, I am the strangest person that I've ever met, so it kind of fits, right? This is only like maybe the 5th time that I have done anything on stream as far as my art process goes, and I'm still very nervous about doing it. So please be gentle. If possible. I mean, I have a thick skin. If you guys don't like it, you know, please let me know. Don't tell me that it's great if it's not. You know what I mean? But anyways, aw, Tiggy, awesome. Like I appreciate you being here. I really do. And I do hope that this is a really good place for you to be. I definitely understand that. There are days I think that all of us have that that moment, you know, and for me, like, just the way that I look at things is the only thing I ever expect out of people is for you to be the best you that you can be in that moment in time. And sometimes that, you know, like, that doesn't always mean being the best, right? That just means at that moment in time. Sometimes the best that we can do is just to get up in the morning, grab a bite to eat, and go back to bed. Sometimes the best we can do is, you know, kind of try to avoid people because we are not ready to people today, you know. That kind of stuff happens, you know, but there's always tomorrow. Tomorrow can be a different day because it's a whole new situation. And as long as you're here tomorrow, that's all that matters, right? So, you know, you always want to give yourself that little bit of a rest, that little bit of a moment where you can say, okay, this moment is for me and me alone. And I'm going to do whatever I need to do to feel better. So it's like the whole spoons thing. I like the idea of the spoon stuff. It does work, but at the same time, I feel like I have a bit of a role playing background, you know, so I kind of feel like spells are kind of more fitting for me, you know. So like you have your spell slots. So my spell slots today have been okay, you know. I've been pretty decent, but last night was a little bit rough on me, you know. I won't deny. I think honestly something was going on in the air yesterday, because yesterday all around was just sort of a bleh day, you know, for a lot of people. So kind of maybe something in the energy. You know, if you believe in such things, what is it? Chiron right now is in retrograde, and that's all about like healing from past traumas and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, while that energy's out there in the air, sometimes we're going to deal with things that are in our pasts and stuff. You know, stuff will come up that we didn't expect. Trying to see maybe something in the background there. Like a different person, maybe, almost, or something. I don't know. Maybe it's a person that's walking. Yeah, that could be. Could be a person that's like walking away from this lady here, and is like causing them to be a little bit sad or something. I don't know. Let's see. Mana reserves. Yeah, exactly. Kind of need to fix the chin line maybe a little bit on her. Like figure out where her lips and stuff are going to be. Okay. I'm going to do a different layer so I don't mess anything up from here. But I try to minimize layers until I'm starting to do like the bigger color scheme kind of a thing. But I think I'll do it right now just to kind of work on her clothing a little bit. That could be too. Yeah, that could be too. That could be too. Like I said, I haven't yet figured out who she is yet. You know, I can tell she is feminine, right? But who she is and what the story is so far, I don't know yet. We're gonna find out though. We're getting there. It's coming out interesting. Clothes are always fun. And look, Ollie, I'm doing blue clothes today, not red. How bizarre. Okay, so yeah, it's getting a little bit more refined. Let me give my hand a rest a moment here. Getting a little bit more refined. We'll see what happens from here. Gonna grab a drink here while I'm taking a moment. So, just out of curiosity, like this is what I'm seeing happening with the scene. But you know, what would you like if you were given the same, you know, mess to begin with? Like let's go back to it here a little bit. If you were given the same mess to begin with here, what do you see in this scattered bit of stuff? Just out of curiosity. Because it's always interesting for me to see what other people think, you know, to see what other people see. You draw a bunch of jellyfish. That's actually yeah. See, I could see that too. I could see that too, being like a cool, like maybe even an alien sort of an ocean scene, you know, where the water is a little bit of a different color, maybe from the sunlight or something like that. Nope, I did not mean to hit that button. You know, and so like there's these cool like alien jellyfish sort of things that are floating around and flowing around and that kind of thing. I could see that. I could see that. That'd be cool. That would be cool. You also see a hazmat suit head in there. Yeah, I could see that a little bit too. Yeah. Like right in this area right here, right? And then there's like another person, maybe, you know, like a different person altogether. Instead of being like a side view perspective like what I'm doing, it could be like a front view of somebody that's in like a hazardous area or something like that. You know, almost a post-apocalyptic kind of a thing, and you could develop it from there. See, that's the thing that's cool about this little technique, is that, you know, everybody sees it differently and could create something out of it, you know? I like it. Right. Yeah. See, and your brain latched onto that, mine didn't, and I like that, you know? Yeah, Darth Vader going, no, exactly. There's so many different things that can pop out with just that little splat of paint, you know? That's why this technique that I'm doing, I like to show to people, because it really is powerful for idea generation. You know, you can really, you can really come up with some really cool things based on just a splat of paint, you know? If you like, it is kind of a matter of training your brain, right? You have to get your brain sort of in the flow of that kind of thing happening, you know? But, once you do it, it's really hard not to do it. You know what I mean? It really is hard not to do it. So, I don't know. You guys tell me on this though. Do you guys think that the perspective of things is okay? 'Cause it looks like it's okay to me, but, you know, my eyes see things a lot differently than what your guys's do. So what your guys's? Yeah, that's totally grammatically correct, Ira. You are indeed a writer. It looks okay. Okay. I was thinking so, but I wasn't sure if like the head was like maybe just a little bit high. I mean, granted, of course, this could be like an alien kind of a thing, you know, and that is just how their neck and head is. You know what I mean? It's my world. I'm creating it. I can do what I want. Or something like that. Okay. Break over. Get to work, Ira. As my beard hair gets all over my little microphone condom here. All right, so back microphone condom here. All right, so back to work. Break over. Time to work. This is a groovy little tune. I like this one. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is start doing a little bit of the like highlighting and shadows, making them a little bit more refined. So let me walk you guys through this little technique that I do for bearing in mind how to make paintings have that little bit more of a quote unquote realistic sort of a touch to them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with a soft brush, you know, just like airbrushy kind of soft brush sort of a thing that has the soft edges to it. Wow, this song is vastly different than the last song that decided to play. Give me a moment. Let me change this out because it's a little bit rough for what I'm doing at the moment. Sure, we'll go with this one. Okay, so yeah, a little bit of smooth jazz. Anyway, so here's what I do to kind of help to refine shadows in a way that is a little bit more bearing in mind realism. Okay, so you might or might not be aware of this. Everybody's kind of like aware of this on an inherent like subconscious level, but skin works in certain ways that you wouldn't think it does. Okay, so the pigment of the skin is there and it does have an effect on like the color of things, right? But what actually has more of an impact when it comes to the shadows is what's underneath the skin, because skin is semi-translucent. So in the shadows where the light isn't directly hitting the skin and reflecting the skin color into the person's eyes, the skin is actually shaded by whatever is underneath it. So for instance, we human beings and most critters here on the planet have sort of a red musculature and red blood. So those red tones are what come out in the shadows for skin. The same idea applies opposite with the highlights. Highlights on human skin and most, again, critters' skin is not from the pigmentation. There is that effect, yes, but most of it actually comes from the oils and stuff that are on the skin that are reflecting the light. So whatever light tone, like light source you have in your painting or your photograph or whatever, are going to be actually the color that the skin is skewed towards when it comes to the highlights of the skin. So for instance, I have this pinkish tone in the ambient light of the scene, and I don't have yet a direct light like coming from somewhere that's shining on them, right? They're just being lit right now by ambience. So that ambient light is going to reflect on the highlight areas of the skin that's going on here. So I need to bear that in mind, that it's going to skew towards like the pinkish kind of a color when I do highlighting with this person. And I'm going to like make the assumption that they, like us human beings, have like a reddish, so that's going to also reflect in the shadows. So all of that being said, what I'm going to do is I've created a new layer. I have set the layer onto multiply mode, and then I'm going to also set the brush onto multiply mode. And what this will do is it will help to like add to the shading of where I touch it with the brush, but it's going to skew it towards like a certain color scheme, right? So again, bearing in mind the redness, I'm going to select more of a reddish color to do the shadows, right? And hopefully you guys will be able to see what I'm talking about if I don't screw it up too badly. All right, so I kind of messed it up just a little bit, but that will be like easy to refine away from, right? But it's kind of, you see how it's adding in a little bit of an ambience to it that wasn't otherwise there. So like, I guess my recommendation is that when you're trying to do like the shadows and highlights, most people instinctively do just a darker color. Like, so for instance, this kind of a yellowish color, most people would lean towards just doing that darker version of that same color to do the shadows. But if you do sort of in a opposing color like this, it actually makes it have a more of a punchy impact, you see. So what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of adding a little bit of a touch of that yellow back in to the areas that I would expect would have, like, you know, as the face sort of declines backwards, you know, maybe they have sort of cheeks that are a little bit on the higher side, a little bit on the puffier side, you know, for whatever reason. So I'm trying to add in like where those would be, you know, for if you're looking at this person from that side view. Yeah, maybe that's not too bad. What do you guys think? Hey, this is a song we made. I'll change it though. So now what I'm going to do is kind of work on the highlight areas a little bit. Again, just to try to refine it a little bit further, you know. So what I'm going to do is grab maybe this bit of a purplish pink, well, maybe this one here, just to kind of like touch up a little bit of the highlight kind of zones. Okay, so I'm going to go back to a little bit of a harder brush here. I'm trying to work it out here. Yeah, not too bad. I don't know. What do you guys think so far? You tell me. Okay, so now that I got the basics laid down, I'm going to switch over to, well, I guess I can keep this same brush here for right now, but maybe, no, I'll do a softer brush. I'm going to work on doing a little bit more on the highlight areas. This time around, though, I'm going to set the layer onto color dodge. And the brush itself is going to go on color dodge as well. If I can find it. There we go. I think that was the right one. I'm going to bring the brush to a little bit of a bigger size. And again, I'm going to select like some of that ambient light that's going on. Now I need to be really, really careful here because the color dodge tool is super powerful, like super potent. So like if I ran the brush across right here, you see it's very, very bright, you know? So you got to be kind of cautious with how you make use of it, I guess. There you go. See, so even though the dress or whatever it is that she's wearing is like a bluish color, I've added just a little bit of that redness that's coming in from the ambience into it because that is going to be a part of the colors that are coming into that certain viewpoint. You know what I mean? Like it's part of the thing there, you see? So just trying to, again, bear in mind what light does, you know, what light actually, like how it acts. Okay, so let's see. I think at this point I'm going to work on her hair and then I can refine things from there as far as the face goes. But I want to touch on what the hair is doing here. So what I'm going to do is select a hard brush for this and go from there. Okay. It's trying to run with the idea that there's like a breeze blowing here, you know? It's kind of blowing her hair around a bit. So I hope everybody out there is having a good day. If you're just tuning in for the first time, hello, welcome. Where have you been? I've been here forever. No, not really. I've only been here for a couple of weeks, and I've only done a few different art streams on Twitch. So I'm a little bit nervous, a little bit petrified, a little bit, oh my God, you guys are watching me. Oh, shoot. But I'm trying my best. I am a blind guy, and I'm trying to do what I can to get things to work. So if you guys see me like face planted into the monitor, that's why I'm like just a couple of inches away from my screen so that I can be able to see what I'm doing. But I'm trying to get this to come out correctly. This is how it started off, just basically a big paint splotch across the canvas, and I kind of have been refining it ever since into what you guys are seeing right now. So a little bit of an interesting process for me, but it works for me, hopefully. Maybe, sort of. And I hope that you guys are enjoying it. I do hope that you guys are having a great night, hey, great day, whatever it is that you guys are enduring. I hope that it is going really well for you. But yeah, jump on in, say hello. And if you don't want to, that's okay. Just hang out, chill out, and listen to the decent tunes. Hopefully it's decent tunes. I like these kind of tunes, so. So right now I kind of came up with the idea to put a little bit of maybe a braid kind of a thing into her hair and run with it. So I've been kind of just refining the hair a little bit, trying to make it do what I want it to do, and sometimes that's not easy. Much like real life hair, it's not always easy to manage, right? That's not too bad, I guess. Trying to do something just to like show that the braid is, braided. Okay, so now I need to do a little bit of shading where the hair is kind of falling in those zones there, and we'll see what happens from there. Okay. Now I'll go back to the other layer. I'll go back to the hard brush, and I'll work on the hair that's falling from the other side. It's 1 a.m. and it's been a long day, so I'm gonna have to lurk and settle down to go to sleep, but I'm going to keep the stream on in the background. Thanks for letting me hang out, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and night. Catch you soon. Thank you so much for being here, Tiggy. I so appreciate the time that you've spent with me, and I hope that it's been well worth your while. Have a great night, have a great sleep, and I hope that you have a wonderful tomorrow. Thank you. from the bottom of my heart for being here. I will change the music because this is kind of scary music to fall asleep to, right? There you go. That's a little bit more gentle. A little bit more sleepy time for you. Thank you. Much love to you. Be safe and have fun. There we go. It won't take very much hair on that side because of the fact that the breeze is kind of blowing. But, some of the heavier pieces might be hanging down there. So, yeah. I might do another braid coming down as well from that side of the hair. That'd be kind of cool, maybe. There we go. I didn't have to do too much detail to it, just make it a little bit indistinct, but it, something for the viewer to grip onto, I guess, a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think so far? Yay, thank you. I'm trying. I'm trying. Oh, Lord, I'm trying. And of course, the phone call's trying to come in. Okay. So, what do I want to do from here? That would be the question. For those of you guys just tuning in, welcome. My name is Ira. This is Blind Dad Does, and right now, Blind Dad is trying to do a little bit of art. And I don't know how well it's coming out. I don't know what's going on with it, but hopefully, you guys are enjoying it and enjoying the process. It's fun. I mean, the way that I do things is a little bit different and weird. This whole painting basically started out with this splotch of stuff on the canvas, and I have run from there with it into what you guys see at this point in time. I know it seems a little bit bizarre, but basically it's like a version of cloud watching for me, and that's how I basically function when it comes to doing any kind of artwork. We're getting her a little bit more refined and defined as we're taking photographs in this other dimension that I'm looking into, coming up with different things that she might have going on in her life at this moment in time. I kind of thought that, to add a little bit of drama to the scene, I'd have like maybe the appearance of somebody walking away, like, right? Because, need a little bit of drama, right? So that's sort of what I'm, doing with it all. Just trying to figure out like what's going on in her life, what's happening in the scene here, and I felt like the way that her facial appearance is and, kind of the almost melancholy look that's on her face, maybe there's something sad that happened or something like that here. So but you guys know me, I always have to throw in a little bit of weirdness as well, so that's what I'm going to be working on next. Just that little extra weirdness. So please bear with me while I do this part. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys a little trick that you can do as far as Photoshop goes. I don't know how well this would work with other programs, but this is a little trick that you can do. Okay, so you see I put this little bit of just scribbled writing down here for her little device that she's wearing, right? Okay, so what you can do is with Photoshop, if you hit Control on Windows, I think it'd be Command on Mac, and then tap the actual window section, you know, the little box that's there, and then what you'll notice is that the computer will select whatever pixels are on that layer. Okay, so what I do is I kind of then hide that layer. I'll create a new layer, and then I'll use a soft brush, for instance, to basically kind of mess with it a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to do this like weird greenish color, because, you know, that's a cool color to do with this kind of a thing. And then just kind of like scatter shot paint onto it. And what'll happen is you'll only paint within the area that is actually selected. So now if I deselect that selection, you'll see that the little text there is starting to kind of fade into view. So then it's all about being random, you know, and trying to just do a little, some little bits are going to be a little bit brighter than others, you know? And then what you can do is do the same selection, right? But then you can change this layer into like linear light or color dodge. Or linear dodge and color dodge, sorry. And you see how it changes the way that it looks. Right, kind of like that. You see how I managed that, right? So it's just a little way to add kind of a cool little sci-fi effect to things, and you know, do something a little odd, a little bit different. You know, this could be a fantasy scene. This could even be like a Japanese scene almost. I don't know, whatever the case may be, but like you can do things like this to add just those little odd touches that call the eye into seeing something that is maybe not necessarily supposed to be there, but still fits, you know? So then what I can do, since that is now deselected, I can go with a soft brush, again, right here, and then I can have the layer still on color dodge, and I can select color dodge on the brush itself because I was using normal for it, right? And then kind of like sort of refine this weird area where it's brighter, you know, and you can kind of mess with it from there. I am going to select a different layer though. Just so I don't mess the text up, you know, so I don't mess the thing up. So you see right there, what I did was I kind of started small with the brush, tapped the color dodge on it a couple of times, then made the brush a little bit bigger, did it a couple more times, and then made the brush nice and big so that it gives this kind of like a glow effect, you know? So that's something that you can do yourself, right? Just to kind of help you create something a little bit different, a little bit weird. So then what I can do is go back to the hard brush. Since this is some kind of device of some kind, you know, I can go back to the hard brush and I can kind of paint in a green reflection where the edges of that little screen or whatever it is that she has on her is going to be. Messed up on that one. There you go. So something like that. And then what you can do is you can kind of like alternate the color slightly into maybe a red or a yellow or something like that to give more of the effect that this is a device, you know, that's attached to her. Right, something like that. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Just for something on the fly coming up with out of my butt, you know. Not too bad. It means nothing, right? I mean, that's the point. Is like there's no. It's just little random characters that are on the screen there. So there's no like need to go beyond that really. It's just it adds that little air of, well, what's that kind of a thing to it, you know. And if I really wanted to like tweak it a little bit, then I can do something like going back to the hard brush. Well, actually, I've got a couple of brushes that might do pretty cool with this too. Let me see. Give me a second here. Sure, this one would work. Okay, so I'm going to go into normal mode. The layer itself is on normal mode. I'm going to go with black. And, you know, I'll scooch the size of this down a little bit. Oop. There we go. And then I can take this and, yeah, see, I thought I messed it up. Okay, hold on. I accidentally scritched the mouse against the thingy there. Okay, so try it again. Right, so then I can kind of size it downwards. And then what I can do is, I can make sure that that's selected, right? And then I can go to the transform and warp. And I can kind of warp it around the edge of that device. Right, like that. I mean, see that, like, there's no meaning to it. There's no anything to it, right? It's just the little thing that makes it so that the viewer says, well, wait a minute, what's going on there, you know? And most people probably won't even catch that, right? Most people won't even catch that kind of thing is right there, but they might. And it's a little detail that satisfies me, you know? Okay, so I think at this point in time, I've been on for a couple hours. I'm going to go ahead and take a break for a little while. I will probably be back on later on this evening, in a couple hours or whatever, to finish this up and work a little bit more on it. But I need to let my hand rest for a little while, need to let my eye rest for a little while. So, I'll go ahead and hop off of here for right now. However, that being said, I do hope that you guys have had a really good time tonight. I hope that you guys are being safe and sound, and that no matter who you are, no matter what you're going through, no matter what has been taught to you over the years, you are worthy of being loved. And don't let anybody ever teach you any different. Okay? All right. So, in the meantime, keep safe out there. Have fun. Thank you so much as always for being here. And I'll talk to you again later.
Incoming customer detected.